It's the annual gathering of the best supermoto riders on the planet racing for their country. This is the FIM Supermoto of Nations, and it comes to you this year from Carol in France. Carol is based a stone's throw away from Paris's key airport hub, Charles de Gaulle. It's therefore based northeast of the capital centre and is truly a destination event for our competitors. Of course, Paris is one of the world's great tourism cities, but also plays host to more than 2 million residents. Its impact on culture in Europe and the wider world cannot be overstated, and it is apropos to bring the S1 of Nations to Paris in a year where the city has hosted the Olympic and Paralympic Games. This event, just like the Games, is a showcase of our best and brightest. Carol is a circuit that has hosted the S1 GP World Championship numerous times and will be a familiar challenge for many of our riders. It's a long layout at just over 2.1 kilometers and one well worth seeing up close. We took a look with Steve Bonnell, part of the all-dominant Team France.
Hello guys, welcome in Paris in Circuit Carol for the S1 of Nation. I will show you all my favorite parts of the track, so let's follow me. We are in the first off-road of Circuit Carol here. We enter with a split lane inside in the big outside here. After we have 5 waves and we do double and triple here, it's very technical. And after the wave, we follow with a split lane inside outside, like the entry, but the same. And we finish with last table and left exit of the protection. We are in the fastest turn in Carol here with much speed. We enter with a lot of speed and a lot of angle here. And we down maybe two gears down, and for the exit, we try to go the fastest as possible and try to have some grips. Here is banking, and it's the fastest turn because at the exit we're gonna have full gas and full gear up, like maybe 5 or 6 gears, so it's just a full speed in this corner and just full fun. Last off-road of this track, but the exit is for me the most technical part in this track, because we exit with tires dirty in the off-road, and we make slide because it's slippery here in the exit. So we need to have the most efficacy, be smooth on the gas, because after the straight is long, so we need to take the maximum speed. For me, it's perfect. And now let's go with me on the bike.
Okay, Steve, we're ready for a look at the circuit on board. Let's take a look at Carol. C'est parti. Into the first corner then, short main straight and into this great overtaking opportunity, straight onto the first dirt section where, as Steve said, there are 2 different lines you can take. Most riders opt for the berm, but you can make the bottom work as well if you wish. Out onto the tarmac, and as you can see, there's some good elevation change, some interesting cambers through this tarmac section. This circuit also a little bit wider than some supermoto layouts we see in the World Championship, because this circuit is used for bike racing on a regular basis in tarmac configuration. Into this long right-hander which opens up, as Steve Bonnell said, 5th, even 6th gear, but just as it goes straight, it's time to go into the second dirt section. A nice 90-degree right, and then down the hill into this dirt, which looks more than a little treacherous on practice day. Hopefully it'll be a bit less challenging for them once we go racing, but you can see very technical dirt sections here, and interestingly, this chicane back onto the tarmac a little bit tighter than it has been in previous configurations. So that slows them up a bit more heading back onto the tarmac. Another great overtaking opportunity here at this hairpin. One last dirt dalliance, albeit a brief one, the third dirt section, shortcutting us back onto the tarmac and onto the long back straight here at Carol. You can get right to the limiter at the top of 6th gear here before the long braking zone into the final corner. And at full speed, you really do approach this at a huge rate of knots. Great overtaking opportunity to close out the lap here at Carol. A great circuit that's always fun to watch racing at. Each team at the Nations event is comprised of 3 riders, and the entry list is therefore split into 3 groups that have qualifying races to start the event. First up, the Group 1 qualifying race. This would be a duel between Thomas Chayer and Elias Sammartin. It would be the rider of the number 4 that led the way out of the first corner, and as the riders' numbers are a little bit different at the Nations event, that number 4 is Elias Sammartin, representing Italy. Chayer is of course representing the French squadron that has won 9 consecutive Nations events, while Sammartin is racing for last year's runners-up Italy. A battle of the tricolores then, and it was Sammartin that led much of this race. However, towards the end he would stray wide at the first corner, and that would hand the first checkered flag of the weekend to Chayer for France. The French claiming the first blow on home turf here at Nations.
I'm very happy. Elia made a mistake and I passed him 3 laps before the end, and I push on the last 3 laps and I won. So I'm very happy for the team, for the France in France here in Carol. So I'm very happy.
Group 2 was up next, and despite a strong launch off the line for Germany's Eddie Freck aboard the number 11, it was the number 2, France's Steve Bonnell, that soon took the lead, sweeping around the outside, and once he got to the front, there was no challenging the Frenchman. He built his winning margin at the front and had a controlled, easy run to the flag.
Well, was a good race for me, P1 for the Group 2 in qualifying. Don't take a good start, but I managed to pass first in the first lap, and after I make my race, and I'm so happy I won. And for tomorrow, sprint qualifying P1, so it's perfect.
Group 3 featured the current reigning champion and 2024 championship leader, Mark Reiner-Schmidt for Germany, but also marked the international return of Lukas Hurlbacher for Austria, who from pole immediately showed he had lost none of his ability to be fast off the line. But Sylvain Bidard managed to mount an early challenge for France to the inside line there, going through the first dirt section. But soon, it was a familiar picture. Hurlbacher versus Schmidt for the first time since the World Championship decider in Mettey back in 2023. And while the Austrian has lost none of his pace, Schmidt ultimately found a way by, despite a less than ideal race.
Yeah, qualifying race was tough for me. After the start I was third, I could pass Sylvain immediately. I was second, and then in the second lap exit off-road I touched the tire and I broken my rear brake, so I lost the level. Very good performance without the rear brake here on this technical track with 3 off-roads, but yeah, for sure I'm on point for tomorrow, and then I will push more on the off-road, because now just with front brake is quite difficult in the off-road. See you tomorrow, bye.
Opening time for the Supermoto of Nations. All of the teams gathering together, waving their flag aloft. And you can be sure it is a point of pride to represent your country at this prestigious event. But all eyes on Team France. 9 in a row. Can they make it an even 10 here at Carol in 2024? First race and our first look at the grid format here. 2 separate grids running together on the circuit. This is Rider 2 versus Rider 1. So the top seeds, the likes of Thomas Chayer, are having to work from the midfield, the second half of the grid. This should be very exciting. They launch, and it's a good start there from the number 14. That's Andreas Buschberger, and Eddie Freck perhaps in the lead. Yes, the number 11 for Germany with an early race lead, but all the way around the outside and back to the front goes Andreas Buschberger on his Husqvarna. For Team Austria then, our leader, third place there is Francisco Gomez for Spain. Elias Sammartin down in 7th position. He's following the 102 there. The 102, of course, being a French junior entry. That is Alexis Poirot that he just went past. A few of the nations have juniors out on the circuit as well. But at the front of the order, it is Buschberger from Roman Kuivers, the Belgian racer, with a good start. He's running in second place then on his TM, joined by Nils Vanderberg and Romeo Fiorentino in this weekend. So Austria and Belgium at the front. Usually it's France with the dominant force from the very beginning. You see the flags there on the spectator banks. Fans, friends and family from all across Europe and the wider world joining us for this event. There's the number 2 of Steve Bonnell. Of course, Bonnell had pole position, but he hasn't capitalized on that really. Elias Sammartin pursuing the number 16 of Milan, Sitnianski. Familiar foes, of course, from the Supermoto World Championship. Often find each other together on the circuit. Sammartin having a great season. And a bit of a yell there from Sammartin to Sitnianski. Next target for him is Steve Bonnell. Sammartin working his way through the field well. I believe Thomas Chaillet also making his way up the pack. But here comes Sammartin. Here's that phenomenon I was telling you about, that long straight. And then the huge long braking zone that follows it into the final corner means those kind of moves can be commonplace. Looks like some pressure going on here for the Spanish entry, and indeed Elias Sammartin gets past Gomez there for third place. Sammartin has had a brilliant run. Buschberger and Kuivers still running at the front. Oh, bit of a sideways over the jump for Buschberger, really pressing on the Husqvarna. Look at Elias Sammartin. He's worked his way all the way up to third position. Through the chicane he goes, of course, in this event, the Nations event. It's more like a game of golf in that the least points for each team at the end wins, and Elias Sammartin is bringing his point score down with all of these moves. Kuivers drifts wide there. Elias Sammartin up into second position then. Kuivers will be thinking, okay, I'll bolt onto your rear and see if I can find my way past Buschberger. Buschberger, whose Husqvarna is a little more red than usual, sporting the national colours here at the Nations. See, there's some sparking off one of the foot pegs for Buschberger, clearly pressing on, but halfway through the race, it's going to be a tall order to keep Elias Sammartin behind him. Sammartin in what looks like really rich form. Good choice from our TV crew to put the onboard on Sammartin, who's been great value for money in this race, and he's going to make another move. This time it's for the race lead. That might be the last overtake he needs to make in this race. He gets himself to the front of the order. He's by Andreas Buschberger. Nice slide into the first corner. Sammartin looking composed. Of course, he will be aware that some of the others will be fighting their way through the order from the second half of the grid, as he has. So he can't really rest on his laurels here. Buschberger second, third place is Kuivers, and then we saw Thomas Chaillet in fourth ahead of his countryman Steve Bonnell. Chaillet also coming through the field and looking very fast, so that's why Sammartin has not let up, but I think the Italian has done enough. Of course, there's also the factor of where his colleague out on the circuit, Luca Diodato, is. That will determine how the order stacks up.
I'm really happy about this race. I start not too much good, but I try to push all up for trying my best and finish in fourth position. I'm very happy for the Team Italy and for me and for my team.
Delight for Sammartin. He leads the standings then in that race ahead of Bonnell, Buschberger, Chaillet and Kuivers. Your top five, some shuffling there towards the end, but thanks to two in the top five, it is France that lead the Nations points. Italy's Luca Diodato a little further down the order. Two more races to come then here at the FIM Supermoto of Nations. Lots of French support, of course, on home turf looking to see history made in this event. Rider 2 versus Rider 3 then. Some different personnel on this grid for sure. Can we see any more surprises from the rear of the field? Some of our riders, of course, have already been racing today. The Rider 2s back out for their second attempt. And this time sweeping to the inside and into an early lead is Sylvain Bidard. A good start from the Frenchman. Of course, he is again joined by Steve Bonnell out on the circuit. Bonnell will be looking to come through the order. He's already on the fringe of the top 10. We saw the number 2 there. And again, it all depends really on where both riders are. Even though Sammartine won, Italy come in second place because Luca Diodato was a little bit further down the order. There they go. Through the dirt section, it is Sylvain Bidard that leads the way for France. Just behind him is Eddie Freck for the German team, of course. And then Buschberger already up there in third position. Steve Bonnell winding on the power, and that gets him past the Honda there of Peter Woleszek, the number 17, dropping a position. Woleszek, the number 17 for the Czech Republic. He's now maybe going to have the opportunity to get past the 11 of Freck. Freck is under pressure. That means that Buschberger is up to second place, incidentally. So Andreas Buschberger having a good run at the moment. And is right on the rear of Sylvain Bidard on just the second lap of the race. And you see just ahead the number 12 machine. That, of course, is Mark Reiner-Schmidt. He's just gone past Jean Geyer. This is the first appearance of the day from Schmidt, who manages to make up a position there. Buschberger is up into the lead, though. But for how much longer? Because here comes the champ. In second place now is Mark Reiner-Schmidt. I can't imagine Lukas Hülbacher is too far behind either. It's Buschberger for Austria. Will be aware that he really needs to keep Mark Reiner-Schmidt at bay. We just saw Hülbacher down in 6th place. Schmidt looks to the inside there in the dirt. He can't get it done. Buschberger is defending hard here. He knows that the longer he can hold Schmidt at bay, the better. But unfortunately, Schmidt is through. The Austrian hopes rather relied on keeping Schmidt at bay. Oh, the two French riders just ahead there of the number 15 of Hülbacher, and down goes Andreas Buschberger. He was pushing so hard to try and chase this man, Mark Reiner-Schmidt, and he's gone down. Lukas Hülbacher, again, another one of those characteristic yells. Steve Bonnell goes, oh goodness, had a look over the shoulder there and saw him. The world's fastest baker is as quick as ever. He wants to try and chase down Mark Reiner-Schmidt. The number 2 gets out-dragged there. Steve Bonnell punching a hole in the air for Lukas Hülbacher. Here's the KTM rider on the back now of Mark Reiner-Schmidt. The two riders who duked it out for last year's World Championship, of course. Lukas Hülbacher has been on the shelf injured for most of this year and has started racing in national level competitions. We hope to see him back in the World Championship mix in 2025. But for now, he's having a look to the inside there of Mark Reiner-Schmidt, and contact between the two of them. Oh, goodness me. Well, the battle is back on in more ways than one between Schmidt and Hülbacher. But it's Lukas that leads after that moment of contact between them, and Mark Reiner-Schmidt dives right back. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Mark Reiner-Schmidt. He's the one that gives the Larry dive on that occasion and moves back to the lead. Hülbacher is trying so hard to get the win in this race. This is his first time really competing in world level competition again, and he's dove to the inside there at the chicane with a yell And a statement there with that overtake. He wins the race. Hulbacher does it.
First position, super happy. I had a long break with my injury, so I'm back in the World Championship. Super good race for me with Mark. A lot of fights. It was incredible, nice speed we did. Suddenly, unfortunately, Buschberger, the second rider from Austria, had a crash, but we are going full out for the last race, so Team Austria should be on the podium. Thank you.
There you go. Podium projection from Lukas Hulbacher as he wins it. Buschberger did manage to pick up the bike and end up in 8th place, which isn't bad at all. Bonnell 3rd and first of the French riders, but again, Sylvain Bidard in 6th place as well means that France continue to hold the lead. Germany and Austria running 2nd and 3rd, with Spain and Belgium bringing us down to 5th. Our third and final race is sure to be a scorcher. Thomas Scheyer starting from pole position with the Austrian and German teams alongside him. Of course, again, the grid split in two, which means that the likes of Hulbacher and Schmidt have to work their way through the order again. The final race gets underway, and it looks like a good start there from the number 13 of Bauer, but it's the number 10 into the lead. That's Jan Deitenbach, the German racer, making a good start. Lukas Hulbacher into the top 10 already from the second portion of the grid. He's wasting absolutely no time carving through the order there. Tried to get to the inside of Francisco Gomez. Yells at the number 21 of Romeo Fiorentino. That's Elia Sammartin just ahead of him as well. And already closing in on his countryman Bauer, who started on the front row. So this has been a mega first lap from the number 15 rider, typically, of course, the number 72, that being Lukas Hulbacher. It's Scheyer building a lead at the front of the order. Of course, he expects the upcoming round at Mitte to be his final showing in the World Championship. Lukas Hulbacher looking to return to the World Championship before too long. He gets himself past Rudolf Bauer there. Rudolf Bauer on his gas machine. There's Scheyer, though, in the lead. And Deitenbach with Sammartin just behind him in the battle for second place. Elia Sammartin has looked really strong here at Carol. I think he might be a little bit disappointed that this doesn't score points in the World Championship. Of course, he still has a shot of taking the Vice Championship status, as Hulbacher is right on the rear of Sammartin, dives to the inside onto the dirt section, and I think he's got it done. Yes, he is through. So that's Scheyer leading the way. And I don't think it's going to be long before a certain Austrian on a KTM is right there with him. In fact, not just the KTM, because there's Mark Reiner-Schmidt in third position. For the first time in almost 12 months, it's Scheyer versus Hulbacher versus Schmidt in Supermoto competition. Oh, and Schmidt, he's done an almost replica of what happened in the race earlier on. No love lost between Schmidt and Hulbacher. There's healthy respect between them. However, they will also treat each other exactly as the other party does on the circuit, and that's what we just saw there. Elia Sammartin right with them as well in fourth place. He could still be a factor in this battle as well. He has made great progress with that Honda from the Red Motor Gazza Racing stable this year. Schmidt is through into the lead. Mark Reiner-Schmidt has gotten past Thomas Scheyer, so Scheyer is down to second place. Hulbacher is now trying to challenge for second position. He's got the inside line. Surely he's got it done there. Scheyer has been demoted to third place, and now Schmidt is once again under pressure from Hulbacher. Hulbacher going around the outside if he possibly can, taking alternative lines through the dirt there. making sure that any opportunity to pass is made, and he's gotten through there. They tangle as well. At the start of lap 6, Hülbach has found a way through on the dirt. They've made a little bit of contact. That could bring Shire back into it as well. There he is in third place on his Honda, of course. It's KTM versus TM versus Honda. It's Austria versus Germany versus France. And the Austrian leads, but here comes the German. Mark Reiner-Schmidt dives back to the front of the order. This is for the nations event, of course, but I think this might also be some personal pride leaking out into this battle as Hülbach dives to the lead again. And Schmidt immediately retakes it, getting a better run out of the corner. This is quality Supermoto racing. Team Germany, with Mark Reiner-Schmidt in this race, is having a very good outing indeed. Jan Deitenbach still up there as well. I think France are currently doing enough there with Shire in third position. But the battle for the race is incredibly compelling. It's Schmidt in the lead. Can Hülbach find one last move before the end of this race, before the checkered flag? Over the last dirt section they go. That looked like a move potentially from Hülbach, but no. The number 12, Mark Reiner-Schmidt, wins race number 3. And that is a great effort, but once again, look at France. Shire third, Bidar 6th. That is going to be enough to secure them another nations win. It's 10 in a row for Team France. Here are your results then. France with 18 points. Austria and Germany tied on 22. It was very close there. The Austrians and Germans really claiming their intent against France. But it's third best for Team Germany on the tiebreaker. Schmidt, Deitenbach and Eddie Feck. Team Austria, Hülbach, Buschberger and Bauer. And once again, albeit by a narrower margin than we've seen in previous years, Team France, Bonnell, Bidar and the legend, Thomas Shire, hold their flag aloft. It's 10 consecutive FIM Supermoto of Nations wins for the French. Sébastien Poirier presenting the trophy. And they win it again on home turf. What a moment for Shire as he winds down his international career. This will mean a lot to him. Celebration time, boys. Spray that champagne.
We just are so happy because we won 10 in a row with France and one at home in Circuit Carol here is just incredible. Super race for us here. Strong team with Austria and Germany, but that's cool and we won. The most important, vive la France.
Vive la France indeed. It was great to be back at Carol, but now it's time to focus back on the World Championship, where we head to Belgium and Mété. France have done it then, 10 in a row. Thomas Shire, Steve Bonnell and Sylvain Bidar have made Supermoto history for Team France. The Supermoto of Nations goes their way once again on home turf in Carol.